Okay, Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, welcome back. And we have one of my customers here with me, that's John. Introduce yourself, John.
Hi, I'm John from St. Thomas, and about to start a DIY project on a 24 Monza, and super excited to get this Alexseal paint from Kenny with some instruction.
All right. Yeah, so John is here to pick up some paint today, and I just came back from the Alexseal certification class and got this certificate to brag, boast, whatever you want to call it. But it took a lot of work, a lot of effort. Thanks to Alexseal for inviting me to this certification class where we learned so much new technique and new products. So with all this said, I have some instructions to give John. He's a DIY guy, and that's what Kenny's Yacht Maintenance is all about. So we're gonna start with the primers. This is the Alexseal 442 primer. This is the converter for the primer converter. This is mixed 1-to-1. It's a 1-to-1 mix. So an easy way to mix the primer. So John, I like this mixing cup because this mixing cup is self-explanatory. For primer, 1-to-1. If you're mixing 2, you go to 2. You mix in 5, you go up to 5. So 5 would be 1 part of the base, 1 part of the converter. Whatever number you choose, you would match that number to number. You mix the base first, always do the base first, and then you add your converter. You stir and let that sit for 15 minutes. Let it do it chemical induction. After 15 minutes, you use the top coat reducer. Now, primer, as I explained to you, has a standard reducer, but this Alexseal says this top coat reducer works with the 442 primer. So to make it easy for a DIY guy, I'm giving him the top coat reducer. So you start with 15% after your induction time, 15%, and then you stir and you're ready to use. And I've explained to you, I like to use those high density foam rollers. They works really well, they doesn't break up. You get them from the Home Depot, and they works really well. High density foam rollers.
Awesome.
So that's it for the primer. If you run out of primer, you just mix another batch. You know, you mix another batch and you just keep going. Never have to worry about a wet edge with primer. Great. Primer doesn't dry smoothly like paint. So you just roll it. It's gonna be a little rough on the surface, but that's how it's gonna settle. So I will give you some more instructions, written instructions on how to use this so you don't get lost in all the mixing. So now after your primer, the very next day, you can sand the primer. You're gonna sand the primer with 320 grit sandpaper if you're using a sander, orbital sander. Okay. You're gonna use 320 grit sandpaper, get it nice and smooth, and you're ready for paint. If after sanding your primer you see little scratches that you don't like seeing, any little indentation, little holes, I will show you the putty that you could use. I don't have it here with me, but it's a putty that it's only good for scratches, minor scratches. It's not for strength.
Okay.
So you could use, and the paint will still stick to it.
Right.
You don't have to prime over that putty again. I'm trying to see if I have it anywhere on the shop, but anyway, let's move on. Then you sand that hull and you're ready for paint. What's the first thing you do before painting? You gotta wash the hull with soap and water. Soap and water, I'm a big fan of soap and water. Wash that hull, and after you wash that hull, you do a wipe down. I have a wipe down solvent here. Keep the camera rolling. This is a good wipe down solvent made by Alexseal, but there's also other solvent you could use for wiping down. Denatured alcohol still works. This is just Alexseal product. It's a wipe down solvent to clean the surface with clean rags. Clean rags, preferably white rags.
Okay.
Clean the surface. After that, what's the next thing you use? Right behind you there.
Tack rag, right?
Yeah, grab that white thing right there. Grab this. Use the tack rag. Clean hands. You don't want to press on that tack rag. You just want to go real light. You remember your surface is already clean. So you don't want to contaminate it with sticky hands. This also has a sticky product to it, so you don't want to put pressure. You just want to go real lightly. And you wipe. Now you're ready for painting now. So this, John will be using Alexseal Matterhorn White. This is mixed 2 parts of this to, let's get this away. This is the converter for top coat. This is the 501 line. Alexseal has different line of paint.
Yep.
This is the 501 line. It's a 2-to-1 mix. So you mix, let's go back to the cup. You're gonna use this part of the cup. Remember, this one is for primer. 1-to-1 is for primer. Now you go into 2-to-1. So it's already measured already. Come closer. It's measured 2 parts of the base. This is the base. 1 part of the converter. This is the converter. And 1 part of the reducer. Now, 2-to-1-to-1, that's your mix. But the way you're gonna do it is you're gonna mix the base and the converter, and you're gonna add, this is the Alexseal roll additive. This is the little secret in the bottle. This is, some people refer to it as a bubble buster, a leveling agent. Alexseal calls it the roll additive. So this is the little secret in the bottle. Don't tell anybody, John. Keep this in your pocket. So you're gonna add 1%. You could guesstimate what 1% of your volume is.
Okay.
There's no real measurement with this cup. So you guesstimate what 1%. And one thing I told John earlier, one thing you never do is open this can and do this. Don't ever do that. You open this can and you pour into the cup. Whatever you take, it's still sealed, but you pour into the cup and you guesstimate what 1% might be and you throw in there. Now you stir that. You make sure you stir it really, really, really good. And you let that sit for 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, you add your 1. Remember, it's 2 base to 1 converter.
Yep.
To 1 reducer.
Okay.
So after 15 minutes, you add your 1 part of reducer. So let me just go over that with you. So let's say you're doing the hull, and I recommend you start with, let's say you're doing 3. So 3 to 3.
Yep.
and then with your reducer you end up with that much paint.
Yep.
And then on your second coat, if you fall short on that hull, you'll figure you need a little more on your second coat. But I always do that so you don't waste the paint or you mix too much.
Yeah.
Remember, you can never pour it back
Yeah.
into the can. You cannot pour it back. So whatever you mix, that's it. You gotta dump it or throw it on the wall.
Yeah.
Do it, you know. So where was I? So you
You mix your 2 and 1 and
Yeah.
you're waiting 15 minutes.
and after 15 minutes you do your reducer and you're ready for painting.
And additive actually before, right?
Yeah, the additive goes with the first.
You did the first 2.
Yeah, the first 2. And so now you don't need additive no more. Put that away. Put it in your pocket. Don't let the neighbors see. So you put that additive away. And you're ready for painting. So you're painting. So if you're painting and you find your paint is a little draggy, what do?
More reducer?
A little reducer. You don't dump. Don't never dump. When you pull this up, right? When you burst this open, you could use it as a cap.
Okay.
So, and it pulls out. This pulls out.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you always pour into
Something else.
something and pour. You don't want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
Now, you might see a professional guy doing it because he's done it for so long,
Yeah.
but don't, because you can easily,
Bad habits.
yeah, you can easily mess up a batch of paint by
Pouring too
reducing, pouring too much. So, and yeah, so you put a cap at a time and you fill out your paint, and if it's rolling smoothly, you're good. Keep going. Every so often, depends on the volume or the size of the area you're doing, you might find your paint dragging a little bit. So you could loosen it up with a cap at a time or a half cap at a time, just to loosen it up to get it going. You know, even if you already put the one part,
Yep.
you could always add a little
Little
extra more and keep going. And as I told John, just in case he may not need it, he chose not to get it, this is accelerator. If you have an iffy day where the weather might not be 100% and you want to take a chance, that might be your best friend to have on your side, because it will speed up the drying. But I'm afraid John might mess up his job by using this, so we choose not to use it this time. But this is always a standby. Other than that, John, you got me on the phone if you need me.
Thank you.
And we want to lock you in as a customer. I want you to spread the word that Kenny's Yacht Maintenance is not just the guy that sells the paint, but the guy that can give all the consultation that you need.
Cool.
You could call me at any time, text me at any time. If you're in a little jam and you say, man, I get a little confused, what should I do? Hit me up.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
here again, Kenny's Yacht Maintenance. I'm here with John. I'll do a follow-up on John's project. And we're here. We will continue to work smarter and not harder. So this is John's project right here. Almost ready for primer. What kind of boat is it, John?
It's a 24-foot Monza.
24-foot Monza.
The mold they had here back in the late 90s and early 2000s, and a group of guys popped boats out of it back then, and this was one of those. I think Mike Hulk built this one, but Morgan Avery and Tony Kofeld, Eric Hekela, all those guys built those boats too.
All right.
Yep.
So you've put a lot of work into it, and she's almost ready for the primer. Nicely prepped hull. We're giving John all the consultation that he needs, and there's nothing to complain about. Then get it washed down and mix up the primer
and just roll the primer on.
Sounds So
good.
we will do a follow-up on John's project. And John is doing this project all by himself.
I've had a lot of help from Morgan and Kirst, two of my buddies from here.
All right. And John has never done painting before. And this is just a DIY project. And he's doing super good.
Thank
So
you.
we'll do the follow-up after the primer and then with the paint. Kenny's Yacht Maintenance signing out.
All the stringers and maybe a couple new bulkheads.
Today we're here with John, and he just got his first coat on his boat, and I just stopped by to do a little inspection of John's project. And let me just do a walkthrough of what John's project looked like. I think John did pretty good for his first coat all by himself. Pretty shiny. John did this all by himself. So John,
Yep.
I think you did very well for your first coat. Just taking the coaching that I give you and following instructions. So what are the challenges that you probably face doing it?
Yeah, I watched your videos like 5 times each to make sure I got everything, and then once I went for it, it was a big learning experience because you know, you have to keep the wet edge, so you got to figure out where your corners are and where you can get the paint within the amount of time. So I learned now kind of how I'm gonna paint for next time.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is wherever you had little challenges, you work on that for the next coat.
Yep. And then also the thinning. I think I had a little bit thicker than I could have. Yeah.
And one of the things I explained to John is Alexseal is two parts of the base, 1 part converter, 1 part reducer. Brush converter, brush reducer. But I got to emphasize, for DIY guys, they probably can get a little confused with that. And an easy way to do it is 50% paint, 25% converter, 25% reducer. And that will solve your problem. Sometimes you get mixed up, even when I was speaking to you yesterday, you mentioned 15%.
Yeah.
And that's where I had to correct you.
I don't know why I had that in my head, but
Yeah.
you did say 2 to 1 to 1, which would be 25. And I don't know, maybe I watched too many videos.
Okay, so let me show you a little trick I do sometimes, even when I'm mixing paint. I'm just gonna use this. I just picked that up the floor. I'm just gonna use it as an example. I'm mixing paint and if I don't have a mixing cup with measurement, I grab anything. It could be a cap of a container, and if I'm mixing a little bit just to do a touch-up, I could take a cap from a cover from a bottle, and I put 2 parts, fill it up, 2 parts of paint. I pour it in my container. I pour 1 part of the converter in that same cap. I pour it in the mixing container, and 1 cup of the reducer.
Right.
So it doesn't necessarily have to be a measuring cup.
You just have to know.
Yeah, it's 2. It could be 2 of this of paint, 2 of this of converter. No, I'm messing up. 2 of this of paint. Let's start over. To 1 part of converter.
Yeah.
To 1 part of reducer. And it doesn't matter what you use as your measurement. 2 to 1 to 1. So that's 100% right there. So 50% paint, 25% converter, 25% reducer. And that will, at least that will help you to So you could see the difference, John.
Yep.
That's good.
Yep.
What I try to do, not just dull, I try to break down all the little ripples from the paint, so it's leveled.
Yep.
So you
without burning.
yeah, so when sanding, you actually move the sander around. You move the sander. Every time you move the sander, you actually putting some visual on what sanded and what need a little harder. So as you see, I would consider here good, right? Here you could still see some ripples.
Pattern.
So you try to get rid of that and try not to burn through.
Yep.
So keeping the sander flat. Don't thin the sander. Just keep the sander flat and it's gonna do the job. And just keep moving the sander. Keep moving the sander. Kenny's Yacht Maintenance. We're back here with John and with the DIY project that John did. And just walked up to John's boat. And I'm gonna do a walk around John, and then
Cool.
we'll talk about it.
Sounds good.
So yeah, first thing I saw was the shine on John's boat. Just check out the shine. This is all DIY by himself. It's under a tent, and you could see the shine. Check this out. Check out the reflection right here. And I have no complaints about John's project. Check out the stern. Just check out the sides here. Check it out. Check out the shine. This is Alexseal paint, by the way. Alexseal 501 paint. All DIY. Check this out. I am amazed, John. You did a fantastic job. And here we are back with John. Let's go in the sun. So first thing I saw, John, was the shine. It's really shiny. It has a professional look to it. You did all the repairs on the hull, really nice. I don't see anything to complain about. Usually if there's a hump, it will show in the paint. I don't see any hump. And this is Alexseal paint. So this project John started, it's all DIY project with John. And you rebuild this boat.
Yeah.
So talk a little about it, John.
Well, I started, let's see, last May, sorry, a year and a half ago. So May 2023, I got the hull from a buddy and needed a bunch of work. And flipped it over. My good friend Morgan Avery helped guide me the whole year, and I got to learn from him on how to tackle all the technical aspects of the restoration, all the fiberglass work. And yeah, redid the whole bottom, fix all the old repairs on the bottom, and then some new ones, faired it, and you know, after we were done fairing, primed it, and then flipped it back over, cut the deck out, took the fuel tank out, reinforced the stringers, squared up all the stringers, added a back bulkhead for the seat to rest on, and then made the floor, and then, you know, prepped the whole thing to paint. Kenny gave me the Alexseal paint. I was attracted to it because in my neighborhood, spraying stuff because the fumes run to the other neighbors' houses, and I saw his videos and I've heard about him from here and talked to him, and yeah, the rolling with the additive was awesome. Came out probably better than I could spray it. And overall, 10 out of 10 experience for me. So I'm psyched. Thanks.
All right.
Yeah.
So John came to me, I would say, what, 3 months ago?
Yeah.
And was interested in the Alexseal paint. And John bought all the Alexseal paint from me, all the primer, all the paint, everything. And in return, I offered to give John some free consultation as to how to go about priming and painting this boat. And I gave him some supervision as far as after the first coat, I stopped by. He did it all by himself, John. So after the first coat, I did stop by and looked at it. Pretty good for a first-time painter. And he did the second coat. I guess he was not very happy with the second coat.
Yeah, no, I wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. And then as I told John, you know, the goal is for 3 coats. Usually when you're painting a boat, rolling and tipping, sometimes you get away with 2 coats, it looks good and you just leave it alone. But 3 coats is ideal. If somebody wants to go 4 coats, well, it's even better. But 3 coats is really the goal. So John did the 3rd coat, how many days ago?
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Yeah. And looking at it now, for a first-time painter, John, I'm sure some of the viewers gonna say they don't believe that you haven't painted a boat before.
Kenny's a good coach.
All right, I'll take it.
Yep. Yeah, never painted a boat before, especially rolling. When I did the bottom with the primer, my buddy came and helped me spray it, but I got in trouble with the neighbors. So yeah, never rolled and never painted a boat myself. Kenny, like he said, he spent some time with me telling me how to do it, and I looked up all the resources he posted online, followed them to the T, and that was it. Just got the confidence to do it from there.
So with Alexseal 501, as I explained to you, it's a user-friendly paint. I mean, all grip is good as well, but Alexseal is a little more forgiving, especially for the DIY projects. And for a first-timer, I mean, if you look at it, you would think that it was painted in a boatyard. So John, I gotta give hats off to you for that.
Thanks a lot.
And that's just to say, DIY projects, I mean, if you put your all into it, it's possible. You know, you gotta be committed, you have a nice area to do it, and follow instructions. And I gave John all the instructions that he needed, and John could call me up at any time if he's a little confused and not sure about certain things, certain application. He could call me up and I would answer the questions. So at Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, we provide that. We sell all the products, we sell all the Alexseal products, even all the all grip products. If you buy the products from me, I can offer free consultation. So John, I think now you have the right to wear a Kenny's Yacht Maintenance shirt. So hold the camera for me, I'm gonna get you a Kenny's Yacht Maintenance
shirt. All right.
What's your size, John?
I think, what are you, an XL?
I have a large and I got an XL.
Probably XL.
Okay, so I'm gonna give John this XL t-shirt, John. You wear this proudly, John.
Oh yeah.
This is all yours, Kenny's Yacht Maintenance. Let's open it up and see what it says here.
Oh, shirt for John.
Oh yeah, that was my reminder. Yeah. Oh yeah. Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, professional yacht refinishing, over 25 years of experience. Spin it around again, Joy. Turn back.
It's a nice shirt, Kenny, thanks.
Over 25 years of experience, working smarter and not harder. Licensed, insured and certified. So yeah. Let's do it together, John. Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, where we work smarter, not harder. So keep on keeping on. Yeah, man.
From Massachusetts Institute of Technology, I am the proud product of Kenny's Yacht Maintenance, where we are in the business of working smarter, not harder. Please like, share, and subscribe.